Look what's here! Our new Sirui 20mm wide anamorphic lens. Super stoked to get this out and try it. I know I said we weren't going to spend as much money this year on the channel, and we're not. But this is something that I was going to purchase last year, and this lens has autofocus. So last year's wouldn't even have had that. It was $1,300. And this year, we got this lens for $975, brand new, because we supported their Indiegogo campaign. And I am super stoked. Let's get this open and see what it looks like. Yeah, it's going to be fine because it's a box within a box. And I don't think I can get it out with one hand, so... Eh! Comes with a nice case. Oh, it's fairly heavy. Heavier than I thought. Heh. 1 year warranty. Okay, now that's funny. I was going to just open the case and show you guys the lens, but it's vacuum packed. I've never seen a lens. None of the lenses I've ever purchased, and I've purchased many, have been vacuum sealed. I guess that's a good thing. There's not going to be any scratches on it, that's for sure. Okay, let's get it open and take a look at this thing. All right. That is a beauty. All metal, 480 some grams, so it's decently heavy. I think it should work on our gimbal. Before I ordered it, I did check the weight of the ZV-E1 and this lens. The only thing I didn't check was that we're going to have to add an ND filter on the end here. Oh, super smooth focusing ring. Oh man, this feels good. It feels good quality. And I have bought Sirui stuff before. I own a couple of their tripods, and it was really top-notch stuff. So I have some very high hopes for this lens. So Wynn's got a few hundred buckets out here. If it's a maple, he's got it tapped. And he uses a pretty modern, intricate system with an osmosis filter and everything in there. And that basically takes out 70% of the water. So when Tom and I do ours old style, we would have to boil and boil and boil. Wynn uses propane, so he's not using wood. And always the smell of the smoke was... To me, that brings back all the memories. So these guys using propane, I'm like, I got a thumbs down the propane. I don't think it changes the flavor of the actual final product at all, but it definitely, your jacket, if you go home at night and it doesn't smell like you've been out in the bush burning and boiling all day, it's just not the same. The only thing I can appreciate about Wynn's system over Tom's is that there's no dirty old work sock filtering in Wynn's system. Shout out to Tom. You know, I think that might actually change the flavor a little bit, but maybe for the better. So I need to get out here early enough before Wynn comes out in the evening to collect this, get my shots in and get out of here. Otherwise, I got to help him collect these 200 and some buckets worth of sap. Time to mosey on out of here. Good morning, guys. We're looking at a spring snowstorm out there. We also have a flash freeze warning in effect. We're at 0 degrees right now. As I showed you yesterday, the sap was running. Everything looked like spring. But today, we're going to drop back down to minus 20. I can't take sitting around the house anymore, waiting for spring to get here in all its glory. So we're going to go for a snowstorm drive and see what adventure we can find. We've got 3 cameras with us today. The 300mm long lens, the 7200, and we're shooting on the ZV-E1. Let's go make a movie. Well, there's our first spring look at the golf course. Doesn't look like she's ready yet. I think there's a Sasquatch back there behind that tree. And it's wearing pink leggings. Oh, never mind. Gotta do that window up, everything's getting wet in here. Does that look like spring to you guys? Doesn't look like spring, doesn't sound like spring. The windshield is freezing up already. I just had a little bit of a weird thought. We've got the anamorphic wide-angle lens on here. There's some beautiful scenery out there. What would happen if I put the camera on photo mode and take some photos with this lens on here, and then we de-squeeze the photos? We should just get a nice wide-angle photo. I'm going to try it. Let's see what it looks like. Well, we're either going to find some wildlife or we're going to get stuck. Those are your 2 options this time of year driving these back roads. %, do not like the feel of this road. We'll throw that in 4-wheel drive. Beautiful looking forest though. Yeah, so when the frost comes out of these roads in the spring, you can have soft, wet spots that really aren't solid, but they are frozen. And once the frost leaves, you end up with a 2-foot mud hole, but you don't know it's there until you drive over it. So, not my first rodeo, grew up on these back roads, and I know it's a chance, especially as there's a sign right at the start of this road that says, not publicly maintained, so they are not running a grader or anything over this road. But there's some nice swamps along here, and I was hoping maybe we'd see a moose. But so far, no moose. Well, snows are not letting up. In fact, it's getting worse. It's starting to look like a blizzard, actually. Well, no matter how much I yearn for spring, I guess we just have to go through the motions, right? It's the same routine every year. Freeze thaw, more snow, wet, sloppy conditions for months. And even though it's not great for photography today, it is beautiful out here on these back roads, looking at all the old farms off in the distance. You can just see the silhouettes of them, the machinery, horses out in the fields. I do love it out here. Well, that's one thing you won't have around here this time of year. It's a clean vehicle. Damn Sony and their archaic file folder system on these cameras. If you take photos, they go in a separate folder, and then you've got to remember to take them out. I just deleted my photos. There was only 4 anamorphic photos that we took on the drive this morning. I was really curious to see what they were going to look like de-stretched. We'll have to do a video just on that. We'll do a full video on anamorphic photo shooting with this cool lens. So what happens is the videos go in one folder, photos go in another folder, but then when you delete everything that you created today, it deletes both folders. My bad. They probably weren't great anyway. And then again, you never know, right? I'm pretty good. Catch you in the next one.